Alright, player ratings times and Arsenal versus Fulham. Let's get to it. So obviously it was a fantastic performance. It's been a very long time since we've been able to sit back, relax, and watch the boys just play and have a really good, fun, relaxing time as we had probably one of our best matches. Definitely the best match of the calendar year so far. It's a good time to have it with the run in well and truly underway and the dying stages of the Champions League. So, a good time to get back into form. Let's get to it. So, starting with the keeper as always, David Raya. He was good. Didn't have much to do. Really didn't have much to do. Our defense was extremely solid. Our midfield was extremely solid. And Raya just had to make one save. Not much else to add. Yeah, didn't even need to have many touches at the ball at his feet because we were so progressive with our play. Yes, there was a bit of passing at the back between Saliba and Gabriel and so forth, but they never felt the need to go back to Raya. We were able to just play through the press. If whatever press that Fulham tried to make, we dealt with it very, very easily. So a very breezy game for David Raya, one that you'd be happy to sit back. And he was off this game with the match week now completed. He's now the winner of another Golden Glove. I think that makes it 3 in a row now. So props to him. Well done. 17 clean sheets already. Hopefully a couple more to end the season. All right, Ben White. Unfortunately, he was probably the worst performing player on my list with an average. I'll give him an average because he wasn't all bad. Obviously we were a very dominant side and a big part of it was a huge team effort. But Ben White's form is a very big worry. He just makes way too many mistakes to make me really trust in him being a starter, being on the pitch, especially against teams that are a lot tougher than Fulham, because Fulham came out that night and you'd be fair to say it was not very good at all. They were not prepared to match the physicality that we were bring forth, and technically they were just not there at all. But Ben White, technically not the greatest. There were a lot of misplaced passes from him. There was one moment early in the first half where he was dribbling backwards and then he slipped, right in front of our box. And that could have been worrying if it was against a better team, right? So stuff like that really does give me a bit of hesitancy as to, do I trust Ben White to perform at the level that we need him to be, especially in place of Yuri Timber, who's still out injured at the moment. Yeah, I don't really have that full faith in him to do the job. So that's an average for him. Coming Atletico Madrid obviously will be tomorrow morning for me, and yes, he does combine well with Saka, and might have been a reason why Saka was so good, but I think it was more to do with Marcelo Skelly and Gyökeres making Saka's life really easy. But that partnership does exist, but I don't think that's enough to excuse the fact that defensively White has been pretty poor this few last matches. Saliba, gonna put him as a good, and I think again, don't want to rehash every single week, but he's just world class. He rarely makes mistakes. Yes, there was a time where he tried to dribble out from the back and got dispossessed, but hey, I don't mind that. I don't mind the bravery. I don't mind his ability to really take the game on by himself. There was a lovely dummy that he made in the second half, so that really was a joy to watch. But yeah, ball at his feet, I don't have any qualms with it. Yes, he is capable of losing the ball at times as he tries to dribble out, but more often than not, I fully trust him to do the job. And defensively, what can you say? He's just amazing, isn't he? And yeah, big contributor to why we kept the clean sheet and why Fulham didn't have a sniff all game outside of one big chance, but that's it. Gabriel, in the same vein, I'm going to put it as good. And not because these defenders were bad or any sense, but I think this game really highlighted how good our attack is. And I didn't want to take the limelight away from the attackers. But Gabriel and Saliba were both equally very good. And I was very impressed with Gabriel's outlet passes, especially all the way to Saka. He was switching the ball from the opposite wing to the other wing, all the way to Saka, finding him early and quickly. So avoiding having to build up through the middle too much and getting dispossessed and whatnot. And he pinged them with good accuracy as well. So I was really impressed with Gabriel this game. So yeah, hopefully he can continue that because that is really good. That's something that I was hoping to see more of from Gabriel, and yeah, really encouraged by his performance with the ball at his feet. Calafiori, good to see him back. Every time he goes out and he goes out for a lengthy period of time, and then we start to sort of miss him, and then Capia puts on really good performances, and we think maybe we don't need Calafiori, but then he comes on, starts, and he reminds us all why he is our starting left back, and he was phenomenal. I'm going to put him as a very good. He was just the typical old Calafiori that we all know and love, bounding forward, being a threat in the box. Could have had a couple of goals. One of them obviously disallowed due to an offside. But lovely header, to be fair. And then the second one, if he had more purchase on the header from the beautiful corner from Saka, he gets was it Saka or was it Madueke? I think it was in the second half, so probably Madueke. But he receives the corner, lovely leap. Gets to it with his head, but unfortunately doesn't connect it well enough, and unfortunately just bounces off his head right down into Bernd Leonard's head, and somehow the ball keeps out. So could have had a couple of goals if obviously the offside, can't really do much about that. Gotta be onside. But in the second one, if he does better there, he gets a goal, and that's something to talk about, and we could be 4-0 up. But unluckily for Calafiori, doesn't score there, but obviously, again, defensively extremely solid. On top of the fact that his forward progressive runs and chances creations that he provides the team is amazing. And maybe you can obviously we'll talk more about Trossard later, but maybe that partnership between Trossard and Calafiori is equally as devastating as Saka and Ben White on the opposite side. I think there's a point to make that Calafiori does unlock that side for Trossard, because without Calafiori, Trossard has been, pretty poor, especially this calendar year. But immediately this game, Trossard had definitely one of his best games in a very long time. We'll speak more about that. But the star man here, not my man of the match, but Miles Lewis-Skelly, comes in with a big opportunity, trusted by Mikel Arteta, to finally play and to start in place of Zubimendi in that box-to-box sort of role. And man, was he phenomenal. He was phenomenal. I'm going to give him as a very good. It's been a very long time coming. We all knew that Lewis-Skelly was made to be a midfielder. Because of how press resistant he can be, because how strong he is in the duels and tackles, how progressive he is with his passes and forward runs. We all knew Lewis-Skelly really suited that role, and he comes in and bosses the midfield really extremely well. Goes to show, the level of trust from Mikel Arteta, and a lot of patience, to be fair. Maybe he saw these qualities in Lewis-Skelly very early on in the training field and really bided his time, waiting for the right moment for Lewis-Skelly to step in the limelight. And you all saw the embrace between Arteta and Lewis-Skelly at the end of the match, and fair to say that they have a really good partnership, and Arteta trusts him a lot. Does he trust him enough to start against Atletico Madrid on midweek? Probably not. Definitely not. I wouldn't. I think Zubimendi is still that guy. And when Zubimendi came on to replace Rice to finish off the game, he was outstanding. So there's still that quality of Zubimendi that we still have to respect and still love. But Lewis Skelly really gave us a different dimension of the box-to-box midfielder, someone that is able to take the game on with the half turn, with how physical he is, with the ability to just shield the ball with his body, drawing fouls, beating the man with really tight dribbling. It was something really fun to watch, and I think it allowed players like Saka, like Trossard, to feed off that energy, to feed off those really early passes to the wings, and it allowed them to operate and do their thing with a lot more confidence. There's many times where Saka receives the ball and he has to beat one or two, two or three people. But in this game against Fulham, he only had to beat one person, and beat them he did very frequently. And that was mainly due to the fact that Miles Lewis-Skelly was finding him early, making sure that Saka didn't have to beat multiple people, just get the ball to his feet and let him do his thing. All right, Declan Rice. He took a back seat this game, obviously, being more of the defensive holding midfielder, which he has been playing the last two matches, starting against Atletico Madrid. And I think this suits his role very well. He's a very high IQ player. He positions himself at the right place at the right time. You see him all the time, not just covering the spaces between the centre halves, but also covering the spaces that are left by the gaps of our attacking fullbacks. Calafiori bombing forward, Rice slots in into left back role. Ben White bombs forwards, Rice slots in that right back role. So, and Rice was fantastic as well in his role. I'm only giving him as a good because he didn't have to get involved in the game, and so he didn't need to. He didn't have to show his utmost world-class performance that he needs to, because everyone else was so fantastic. And good news that we were able to go up so early in the first half and give Rice a lot of a rest in the second half, keep him fresh for the Atletico Madrid tie. More to come from him, but I'm just really happy that we have Rice on our team, because he's such a smart player, he's such a good leader, and he does it on the pitch, and I'm sure he does it off the pitch as well. Eberechi Eze, I'm going to give him as a very good. He was very unlucky not to get a goal or an assist that game. He was a dangerous threat all game long in the box. He was finding the box at his feet in the box constantly. There were a couple of times where he probably could have done better with the shot. One early in the first half, I believe, his shot gets blocked after the ball wobbles around, ricochets around. And then in the second half, he goes for a long-range shot that nearly finds his way curling into the bottom corner, but unfortunately not enough of a curl to get the shot on target. But yeah, Eze again was really aggressive with finding his shots, trying to take the game on, and it really moved the game pace at a really lightning pace, especially in that first half. Unlucky not to score again, but yeah, again, I said before that he was our most important player in the run-in, and I think he still is. I think he provides that X factor that we need, especially his long-range efforts, because no one else in the league has scored more shots from outside of the box than Eberechi Eze, and it's something that we have desperately needed over the course of the season. Just last week, he delivered it with the Newcastle game. So, all right, now moving on, Bukayo Saka. Isn't it great to have him back in the squad, in the starting lineup, coming in the right wing after having a bit of a run against Madrid? And this, I was worried about his rustiness. He showed it against Atletico, but this game, he was anything but rusty. He was fantastic. He was excellent. He was just unplayable. The Fulham defenders couldn't even touch him on the pitch. He sets up the first goal, a lovely cut back into a fake, cuts back towards the byline, makes the Fulham player slip, and it delivers a beautiful low-driven cross across the goal area into Gyökeres, who times his run to perfection, and very easy layup of a goal, 1-0. And then the second goal was classic Bukayo, making a very intelligent run after a hold-up play from Gyökeres, finds the ball at his feet with a perfectly placed pass, and deceives Leno by shooting it near post and sliding it in with beautiful, beautiful accuracy. A shot that we have grown accustomed to see from Saka, and something that we love to see. So 1 goal and 1 assist for his tally. Could have had another goal. There was that one opportunity where after Gyökeres' shot saved by Leno, it falls to his feet, and Saka wasn't able to control the ball and couldn't get the shot on target, but could have definitely been another goal for Saka in that one. But he was unplayable, and hopefully he keeps his form, hopefully, because we need him in this run-in. He is definitely our most, outside of Eze, is definitely our most important attacker on this squad, because he unlocks so much because of his so many different qualities of Saka. His strength on the ball, his technical ability. He isn't the paciest sort of winger, but he's so smart in how he is able to shift the defender, his ability to draw fouls, and obviously, of course, his corner taking as well. So hopefully more to see from Saka. Hopefully he stays healthy, because we will need him for the next 4 weeks. Leandro Trossard back to form, and potentially due to the fact that he was now playing with Calafiori, but I think we've all enjoyed when Trossard plays with Gyökeres. Martinelli with Gyökeres has been a tragic pairing, but Trossard is anything but. And again, Trossard was back to his best this game. His ball retention was light years above what he has shown of recent weeks. He was strong on the ball. He never got himself tackled, and those floating crosses into the box was full of danger. I loved it. He just didn't hesitate. He found himself in space and then crossed it immediately, and that's not something that we sometimes lack. We sometimes are too happy to pass it around the box, the horseshoe of death, as we so say. I just want the ball to get just cross it in. Just cross it in nice and early, where the defenders aren't set, and that's where the chances can create. That's where maybe the deflections come into play, or that's where Gyökeres finds a well-timed run to score the header late in the first half. If Calafiori isn't offside, he scores that header because of that really early cross in. So it's something that we really desperately needed, and Trossard provided it, and it really showed how threatening just a simple ball into the box can be. Didn't have that many. He had a couple of early shots, dragged them wide, but good to see him back into his technical best. And Victor Gyökeres, my man of the match, with obviously man of the match, and an excellent performance. One of his best performances in the Arsenal shirt by a metric ton. He's had some great performances in the past. Obviously, starting with the Newcastle game. Atletico Madrid last week, obviously midweek, was a really good performance. You can think of others, maybe like the first game that he scored, Leeds United. But this one was one of the most complete performances from Gyökeres. His hold-up play was fantastic. He was strong with every duel. And he was able to hold off the defender constantly. His passing was fantastic this game. The assist, the layoff to Saka was well weighted, well directed, and then there were a couple of tiki-taka moments where he received the ball on his feet, immediately lays it off, and with perfect precision. So it was one of the most complete performances. Obviously, 2 goals. One of them was a classic poacher's goal, and then another was a really well-timed, well-directed header. Didn't have to overpower it, just directed it to the opposite corner where Leno was hitting. Wrong foots him and just lobs it just over him and scores a lovely goal to put the game to bed 3-0 and securing a really good goal difference. So really happy for Gyökeres. Hope to see him more. I think this is what we need to do with him more. We were playing the ball in behind our lines with a lot more urgency. I mean, the second goal that came from Gyökeres' assist was due to Eze just finding a ball through behind the lines, rewarding Gyökeres for his run, and results speak for themselves. He just capitalizes on it and provides a goal assist opportunity. So we've criticized the system at times going forward where we play a bit too slow, and yeah, I think this game was a perfect example of why Gyökeres really thrives on that more chaotic, more aggressive, more fast-paced type of game. Because when he makes those runs, and he makes a lot of them, we need to reward him. We need to reward him for his hard work. He works his butt off every game, and we got to reward him for it. And this game really showed why he is one of the best strikers in the world, and we need to play like we do have one of the best strikers in the world. And a pretty simple one for Arteta. Excellent game plan. 9 out of 10. I love the rotations that he made. Also Skelly, obviously, but bring back Calafiori, putting trust in Trossard and Isaka, giving good rest at the halftime. Bring off Saka, bring off Rice, bring off Gyökeres and Eze. Just really making sure that we are all rested up for the midweek UCL semi-finals leg 2, which is obviously the most important match coming up. Obviously Premier League super important, but a semi-finals of a Champions League that Arsenal has yet to win in the history of the club, that's always a big one. So yeah, really happy with Arteta. Loved his rotations and loved the game plan. And a quick one on the subs. Madueke came on, and by then I'm not going to really critique too much on the second half subs because they came on, and I think it was clear that the direction from Arteta was just control the game. Don't need to hunt for the second goal. I mean, if the opportunity provides, go for it. But otherwise, control the game. Don't need to give away. Just keep the clean sheet and see the game out. So, a pretty dull second half to be said, but the game was already won, and the players that were out there were just there to kick the ball around, make sure we didn't make any mistakes. So, and in fairness, they didn't really do any mistakes. So Madueke came on in for Saka at halftime, right on the whistle, as Saka got a full half's rest. And yeah, none of them really made a big impact. Mosquera came on very, very late for Ben White. Max Dowman had a small cameo coming on for Eze. He had a really nice run late in the game, but unfortunately couldn't quite score the goal as his shot is misdirected. Gabriel comes on for Gyökeres, and still not a big fan of Jesus in that centre forward position. I think he is more suited as the centre attacking mid, ironically. Because he just doesn't seem very impactful. I mean, his most impact in this game was getting caught offside like 3 times in a row. So that's all you need to think about. But Zubimendi came on for Rice early on in the second half and actually performed extremely well. Much like he controlled the game extremely well. He was winning duels. He was making some great passes. He was making some clean tackles. So of all the subs, I think Zubimendi came on and did the most impact and played to the best. So yeah, these are my player ratings for the Fulham match. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment if you agree or disagree with any of these ratings. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. But hopefully more of the same, please, Arsenal. Please. Because if we play like this in the remaining 4 weeks, I think we can have a very historic season.